Today's theme, we're going to talk about getting out of your comfort zone. Pro bodybuilder, and he's also set all these tremendous records as a power lifter. And I remember Mark Bell was coaching him to get there, and he's a physical specimen, and he's dedicated most of his life now to coaching and promoting health and nutrition. And we're going to talk about his vertical diet. About is what you can do to try to help other people, and so fear should not get in your way of doing things in your life, and it should be the fuel for you. I'm going to teach you a few accessories or workouts I do to get my arms stronger.
One man shit show with the Canadian Grizzly.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the One Man Shit Show, episode 11. And today's theme, we're going to talk about getting out of your comfort zone. Just want to say the podcast 101 webinar was a success. I did actually two showings of it. Forgot to record the first one, but today I did another one and it turned out really well. And the best, kind of most satisfying thing is just seeing people putting out videos now, just today, of the stuff that I taught, and they're using it, and I'm like, wow, it's good to, as a teacher, you show something, you teach it, and if someone does it and learns, that's probably the most satisfying thing. So, getting out of your comfort zone for these webinars, I've done one or two before, but when you log in at noon, when you say everybody's supposed to meet up and everybody's piling into the room, and then you got to go, that's pretty awesome. So, that was kind of getting out of my comfort zone a bit. Another thing is I'm heading down to Austin, Texas this week. So by the time you hear this, I'll probably already be back or on my way back on a plane. But heading down there, I've connected with a business breakthrough group and an elite coaching group, and it's a mastermind. So I'm getting together and meeting with some of the top coaches in, around the world, Australia, the UK, the States, and my mentor, Rob Dial, he's got one of the top podcasts in the world, Mindset Mentor. So I'm going to be down there with those guys, just learning, getting out of my comfort zone. I know they do some crazy things, just do like some things that I'm not going to be comfortable with. I think dancing might be one of them, just uncontrollable dance. As you might think, I'm not a huge dancer, stuff like that, but I'm like, I've gone on these trips before throughout my life, like let's get on a plane and fly to Japan and move there. I did that, and then from there it's just like putting yourself in really uncomfortable shit really kind of forces you to level up, and jumping into several dojos, every new city I went to, and who's the big white guy, let's beat the shit out of him. That was what I was doing. Flying, a big one in my life, big memory. Spent 2 weeks in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Greg Jackson's MMA, and trained with some of the best fighters in the world. John Jones was there. It was his first week there. Rashad Evans, Keith Jardine, Brian Stan, John Dodson, all these famous fighters. And I just jumped in with my sensei Sakurai. We talked about him, last week. And, it was just diving into stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable. So getting out of your comfort zone. So if you like your little life where you're sleeping in your little bed and you don't want to do anything that's getting out of your comfort zone, well, be happy with that life, because that's about all you're going to have. But if you want something different, if you want to be successful, you got to push those limits. So that's what we're going to focus on today.
Awesome sauce. Celebrate the awesomeness.
All right, everybody, awesome sauce. And today, going along with the theme of awesome dudes and guys that have influenced me throughout the years, I want to talk about the albino rhino, and that is Stan Efferding. And he's been on YouTube, with a significant presence, a lot through the previous guest I talked about, Mark Bell, and his most famous thing up until now is that he is, the world's strongest bodybuilder, which means he's a pro bodybuilder, and he's also set all these tremendous records as a power lifter. And I remember Mark Bell was coaching him to get there, and he's a physical specimen, And he's dedicated most of his life now to coaching and promoting health and nutrition. And we're going to talk about his vertical diet in the Fuel Up section. But I just want to talk about how his YouTube channel and the things that he's done has helped me and motivated me, and it's pretty awesome. I've been following the vertical diet probably for the better part of 4 years now, and it's really helped me control everything with balance in my life, with training and making sure I'm fueled up properly. But not only that, he's got some really great videos out there on YouTube. He's always collabing with other people, and giving a lot of this away for free. Like, if you really wanted to learn about the vertical diet, you just got to find some videos of him talking or whatnot. And not only that, like the Rhino Rants, he provides some really good information, a lot about stuff that, some misconceptions about things like, vitamin D, sodium intake, and, things that you need that people might think are, good or bad for you. For example, cholesterol and how that could be, these misconceptions that, oh, you eat eggs. Like, one of my clients, I'm like, you should have about 6 eggs every day. He's like, oh, he's Russian. He's like, oh no, too many egg. I said, no man, that's good for you. They have the perfect balance, fats and protein and whatnot within them. They're good for you. 6 is not too much. And so, it's really awesome to have a guy out there as a resource like him. And so I just wanted to shout him out. Thank you, Stan Efferding. You helped change my life without even knowing it. A douche.
Mindset Minute.
Okay, everybody, Mindset Minute. And what I want to talk today about is fear, and how fear shouldn't be something that you fear. It should be your fuel. So fear is fuel. And, we are talking about getting out of your comfort zone. And so I think a lot of people out there, and we're all guilty of it, we can be scared of doing things. Fear causes us to, not fulfill things in our life that we want to do. And, it's a built-in mechanism, we've talked about it before, in your brain, to kind of stop you from doing, dumb things. I always relate back to our more primitive times as humans, if you believe in that sort of thing, which I do. But, there was a time where we needed to be fearful because we could turn our back and, a wild animal could be hunting us. You never know, right? So you always had to be on top of the game and always be in this fight or flight situation. But what I find in life now is, like, people are fearful of the dumbest things. Like, let's say, oh, I want to make a post on Instagram, let's say, and talk about a certain subject. Well, what'll stop you from even getting there is you'll think about something, and then you might worry about what people think of you. And worrying about what people think of you, and like we talked about, opinions are like assholes, they're always shitty. Don't worry about that. What you got to worry about is what you can do to try to help other people, and so fear should not get in your way of doing things in your life, and it should be the fuel for you. So in many steps in my life, I've used fear to kind of propel me forward. When I was younger, it was, fear of maybe going to school and getting bullied, but I still, went to school and put up with that shit. And, when I first started to train and hit weights at a young age, that kind of fear went away because I was building myself up, feeling pretty awesome. And then moving on to, let's say, maybe, going into university and, studying some pretty complex subjects and being, fearful about maybe not passing or whatnot, but you got to push yourself and put yourself in uncomfortable positions and be willing to do shit like stay up all night and, write a paper or get ready for a test or whatnot. And then all the way into my life where I'm doing stuff where I'm stepping into a ring, or, even before that, karate tournaments where, I know I'm going to go for a state championship and fight at least 5 to 6 times in one day against the best fighters in the state. And so the more that I've been able to guide myself into fear and realize that, that fear is going to help fuel you. And for the most part, even if you do run into a bad result or whatnot, let's say you lose. You don't really lose, you learn. You learn from your mistakes and you move on. So use that fear as fuel and don't let it stop you from doing things. So if you let something right now, think about it right now, you're like, I'm thinking about doing this, but maybe certain things are stopping you from doing it. Like let's say traveling. Like this week I'm going to Texas. I could fear whatever's happening. I won't even say the word, but you know what I'm talking about. Fear this, fear that, fear about wearing. My biggest concern might be right now, it's not to travel, it's like wearing a mask. I hate wearing masks. I have to wear this shit on my face for 5-6 hours when I'm traveling. So, but it's going to be worth it. So make sure in your life that fear is not stopping you from doing the things, because on the other side of fear is freedom and usually awesomeness, right? So don't get to that door and just wonder what's behind it. Kick that motherfucker down.
Level up. Fitness business coaching.
What is up, everybody? Level up. Personal trainer essentials. And what I want to talk about today is walking that walk. You as a trainer have to be someone that has done some shit. What I have here is a few of my trophies, but ones that mean a lot to me. And not because I won or not. Well, this one, 2005, I won the state championship in Hokkaido, Japan, full contact karate. And it was a hard, grueling day. Fought about 6 times that day and managed to pull off an upset in Japan. Let's just say you don't win a tournament unless you knock dudes out, because they don't want you to win. And then fast forward, this is 2018. This trophy looks pretty awesome, but this is actually when I came in second place. But at least I knew that, hey, maybe next year I could, push forward and become first place. And I did. Unfortunately, that trophy for first place wasn't that great. It's actually a whiskey flask, but I can show you that at another time. I got this belt here, and no, it's not my belt. It's my student Eric Stevens, Big E Stevens, who I started off in MMA roughly 2015, 16, and from zero to all the way to winning this belt and becoming the amateur light heavyweight champion of Canada and the amateur light heavyweight champion of Rumble in the Cage down in Lethbridge. And more than these 2 trophies, this belt, Eric's left it here at the gym to put up to show. He also won another belt through excessive force, but it just means a lot to me that I can take what I learned, went all the way overseas, lived in Japan 11 years, and studied martial arts, come back, show a student who is willing to learn and give me everything he's got, and go on to win, and do really well. And everybody loves Eric, and they know he puts his heart into everything, and so that's pretty awesome. And just with powerlifting, knowing that I can come in second one year, come in first the next. But what I want to say is, getting out of your comfort zone. Push your fucking limits. If you're a personal trainer or a coach, is someone going to train with you if you've just done nothing? If you've just done a course? Have you just studied a university course, finished a degree, haven't done shit in your life really? People aren't going to train with you. So you don't have to be a champion, a world champion, or whatever the fuck it is. What you have to be is someone that's willing to push your limits and probably train a little harder than your clients do, or show them that you're willing to go and do things that most people aren't. I remember training I talked about it earlier today, but Albuquerque, New Mexico, Greg Jackson. I'm not a runner. I was running in the mountains of New Mexico. Everybody got ahead of me, like John Jones and Sakurai and all these super in shape lighter fighters. And I was kind of, in the back. Greg came back, and I was talking to him as we were running, catching up to other fighters. And I said, wow, you're pretty awesome at running. He's like, I got to do something to show these guys that I'm, on their level, or I'm training as hard. And that really clicked with me. So, I might not be fighting anymore, but I'm pushing my limits every goddamn day and showing people that, you have to live that uncomfortable life, do things that are hard. When I'm training here with my guys at night, my 8 p.m. sessions, I'm usually the one, lifting the most, unless Abby shows up. But so if you're a personal trainer, if you're just starting out, make sure you start forming something you're good at. You got to really start working towards something. I didn't start powerlifting until I moved back to Canada in 2013. So you could start and get really good at something, I think, within 5 years. So whatever you do, don't just sit there and be stagnant and read books and take little basic certifications. Go and prove to the world that what you're doing is different and be extraordinary. A douche.
Classic fights.
All right, everybody, classic fights. And today I want to talk about one of the most ultimate brawls and pride fighting championships and MMA all together, really. And that is the battle between Don Frye and Takayama, Japanese pro wrestler, giant man in terms of like Japanese guys. This guy's huge. He's about 6'5", and as you can see here, they're staring down, really intense. And how this fight goes, well, all of a sudden they just decide to go for broke. And what I mean by that is like straight up hockey fight where they're just, grabbing each other and just duking it out. As you can see here in the background, you can see it, just a full-on slobber knocker. And it's been famous going around the internet forever, just this fight where both guys are, just not even worried about getting hit, just throwing punches as they're getting punched. And so, it was a cult classic, another great fight in Japan, 2002, at the Saitama Super Arena again. So if you have a chance, go and watch this one. It's on YouTube, and it doesn't last very long. Don Frye manages to get him to the ground and then finishes him with some ground and pound. A little sad note, though, I want to say is, Don Frye has had some medical issues down the road. He's doing all right. But Takayama, actually, he's a professional wrestler, and he had an accident where he broke his neck, and now he's basically a paraplegic. So very sad the way that kind of turned out. But at least this fight lives in the memory banks of any MMA fight and any MMA fan's brain, because it was, one of those fights where they just laid it all on the line. And that's one of the classic fights, a dish.
Fuel up. Sponsored by Magnum Supplements.
Okay, everybody, Fuel Up, sponsored by Magnum. I got a little array of their awesome supplements. I got a new batch coming. I'm excited to try some of their new stuff. But the ones that have been working the best for me lined up here. DNA is actually sold out, but I have a few left in here. I'm waiting for that to come in. That's by far, my favorite supplement, and I miss it. The last few workouts I haven't been able to take it, and I just don't feel that extra gear anymore. So coming in hopefully Monday, but so besides the supplements, I want to talk about Stan Efferding's vertical diet and how awesome that is. Just a little synopsis and what it is. Well, as it's explained, is that the diet isn't spread across a bunch of variations of stuff you would eat. It's basically you're eating a lot of the same stuff over and over, piling on vertically, but these are foods that are very healthy for you and don't cause your digestive tract to have any trouble. So we're looking at a lot of red meat and certain vegetables such as carrots, a lot of tuber vegetables. So that means they're under the ground, so they don't contain chemicals that set off our digestive system, getting gas and whatnot. And basically, making sure you have enough sodium, vitamin D, certain other micronutrients. And it's basically a diet that's simplified to help you get that fuel in and be able to, train and perform up to snuff. So Stan's been helping so many athletes, including some of the top strongmen and MMA fighters and whatnot. So this is a game changer for me in terms of my performance, and then going on to win worlds at 100% raw. So check out the Vertical Diet. I'm going to leave a link here. You can buy it. I recommend buying the PDF and actually supporting Stan, and then having, you know, he's always updating it and it's always kind of evolving. And so check that out. I really recommend that as a way to live your life, simplify things, and perform top notch.
Top secret information. Technique Geek.
What is up, everybody? Everybody asks me, Russ, how'd you get your arms so big? I mean, I got some pretty big pipes here. They're not the prettiest. I don't have veins popping out. They don't look like giant dicks. But I'll tell you what, they're fucking strong as fuck. And, you know, one of the reasons is I focus on strength of my arms, because big arms means, for me, big bench press. And, you know, just having a lot of strength when I'm doing martial arts, grappling, just being able to grab onto someone and control them. That's all arms. So I'm gonna teach you a few accessories or workouts I do to get my arms stronger. You gotta think of, if you're going for strength, you gotta think of your arm just like any other strength component. Lower reps, higher weight. So I'm gonna show you this kind of superset of a standing arm curl and a JM press. So I like to do about 5 reps, and then I jump up the weight and keep on going until I can't get 5 reps, but I don't want to get over 5 reps. I'm building that strength, that tendon strength. So here we go. So yeah, you can have a little bit of body English, that's okay, it doesn't have to be super strict, but I can feel my arms getting a good pump. All right guys, so that little combination there really gets the guns going. What I want to say is your triceps should always be way stronger than your biceps. If you're one of those assholes out there that just has these giant biceps, baby tries, you're doing yourself a disfavor, especially if you're planning on benching anything over 3 plates. So take that into consideration. All right, everybody, so thanks for tuning in to episode 11 of the One Man Shit Show. Lots in there today. So next week, we're actually gonna have a little compilation of all the technique geeks. I like to just kind of highlight them all in one kind of compilation. That'd be awesome. And, you know, don't forget, you know, keep your mind and body in check, or else your life will be a shit show. And if you wanna get some big old pipes like me, try that little workout, and I'll be adding to the series on how to get your guns bigger. But for today, that's about all you can handle.